You're about to land, and just when the plane touches the ground, you hear the engines roaring up. Well, that, my friends, is the reverse thrust. In this video, we'll be seeing what it is and when it is used. So let's get started.
Affirmative, Chief. I'll 4247. Affirmative that I'm an idiot or that you're going to maintain the visual?
Okay, I'll break it to the bare essentials. After touchdown, reverse thrust is used to slow the aircraft down on the runway. There are three major components that slow the airplane down on the runway. The primary method of braking is with disc or carbon brakes, which are similar to those found in your car. The second is the reverse thrust, which is what we'll cover today. And the third method used is aerodynamic braking, which is by using the ground spoilers. It's called reverse thrust because the thrust being produced by the turbine output is being directed in the opposite direction. So let's take a look at this video to see what happens on touchdown. An Airbus A320's engine number 1 can be seen here. At touchdown, these flaps known as reverser doors open and act as guiding vanes in the turbine's bypass channel, forcing the accelerated air of the fan in the opposite direction. These reverser doors don't open automatically on touchdown. You'll have to lift these little levers to activate the hydraulic system, which then applies pressure to the actuator, which opens the reverser doors. Keeping the levers in this position will only provide idle reverse. However, moving the reverse thrust to the aft position will cause the engine to spool up, creating more thrust and increasing the reverse output. The engines will boost thrust by up to 70%, resembling full reverse thrust. I know it seems strange that we applied thrust again so soon after touchdown, but trust me, you can tell the difference between idle and full reverse thrust. Do take note on that on your next landing. Using the reverser reduces landing distance significantly, depending on aircraft weight and environmental factors. Looking at this great video of an A380 touching down and applying full reverse thrust, you can clearly see how the water on the runway is blown forward, sort of away from the aircraft. That happened to me when I landed on a snow-covered runway in northern Japan. The pilot used full reverse thrust and you can see the snow blowing in front of the aircraft. So, when should we employ reverse thrust? Idle reverse is used mostly by all aircraft manufacturers and airlines rely on it. First and foremost, it immediately reduces the aircraft's speed and stabilizes the roll, reducing the need for brakes. Landing on wet or snow-covered runways requires the use of reverse thrust to decelerate the plane, preventing it from skidding and keeping it in a straight line. Due to noise abatement procedures, full reverse thrust is not permitted at some airports around the world or restricted between certain hours. Pilots can, however, use full reverse thrust if deemed necessary, but must document their decision in a report. Airplanes with wind-powered engines may only use full reverse thrust until they reach a certain speed, because doing so below that speed may blow up loose gravel on the runway, which could be sucked into the engine and damage the turbine. On an Airbus A320, for example, you would have to reduce full reverse thrust to idle reverse at 70 knots and retract the reverse at speeds less than 40 knots. There are many different types of reversers available, but they all work on the same basic principle of forcing air or even actual exhaust in the opposite direction. I hope I have answered another question on aviation for you. If you have a burning question, please do not hesitate to contact me. As a result, please subscribe to my channel and spread the word. Positive rate, gear up.